Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan's statement that social reformer Sri Narayana Guru had reconstructed Sanatan Dharma has come under fire from the BJP, which said that Vijayan had insulted Hinduism to win so called extremist votes. A political row has erupted in Kerala over Vijayan's remarks on Sanatan Dharma. What will be the political fallout of Kerala CM's remarks over Sanatan Dharma? This is the topic that we have taken for discussion on for this episode of Political Adda. We have with us G Gopa Kumar, who is the former Vice-chancellor of Central University, and Anand Kochukudy, a senior journalist, to discuss the entire controversy. Welcome to the print.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah. Dr. Gopa Kumar, I would like to begin with you first. How exactly do you see this controversy unfolding, and what would be the ramifications?
This is nothing but a political drama trying to hit the gallery. Uh, Either he is confused or he wanted to create a political mileage out of this debate. Uh, Anyone who has basic understanding of Sanatan Dharma would not try to argue the case like this because he is trying to connect the old evils like untouchability, casteism, feudalism, and other orthodoxy to Sanatana Dharma, which is a very uncharitable attempt on the very concept of Sanatana Dharma. Kerala has been famous for social reform movement in the second half of the 19th century and the full of the 20th century too, and we have undergone radical progression as a result of the social reform. So there is practically no untouchability here, no caste system to the extent that you find in certain villages in north of India. Society is much more cosmopolitan than what is expected. So trying to make an argument, particularly he was trying to connect this with some of the rituals practiced in Hindu temples. Like, for example, many temples in Kerala, male worshipper goes inside by removing his shirt, and most of the time he may be using a dhoti or sometimes a pant. But most of the temples will not permit Hindu male devotee to come inside with a shirt on it. So we used to take off the shirt, and it has been a ritual. And this idea has been there for many decades. As far as I know, most of the temples in Kerala are doing like that. Whereas in North, you will not find this. I don't know what is the connection between this and Sanatan Dharma. It was in this context he tried to say that it is high time that we should remove this evil. I don't know how this becomes an evil because some people believe that by keeping the chest open for the male will attract lot of spirituality and blessings from the god. So that is the ritual that was followed. There may or may not be any scientific backing on it, but to connect this with Sanatana Dharma and saying that this is nothing but some kind of Chaturvarna, etc. These are things which people are either trying to speak out of ignorance and trying to attract the gallery, or then totally confused with Sanatana Dharma. I think we need a proper orientation about what is Sanatana Dharma and how the concept evolved and what exactly are the dimensions. And then connect Sanatana Dharma with the spirituality. These things are not understandable to the people. As a matter of fact, in Kerala, even the Brahmins are less than 1% of the population. And where is the kind of upper caste orthodoxy or the kind of untouchability that is fallen? So it is a very misplaced concept that has been highlighted. And unfortunately, this happened in a meeting of Shivagiri, at Shivagiri near Varkala. We have a very powerful Hindu community called the Ijavas. The Ijavas are historically an OBC community. They constitute 26% of the population. But Srinarayana Guru had championed their cause, and there were many social reformers. So all the untouchability and the kind of orthodoxy against the community has been by and large removed, and they are very competitive, educated, and they are working in every field, not only in government but also in private sector, including IT sector. So there is a kind of untouchability and the kind of orthodoxy that has been commended by these leaders. So removing the shirt and is an evil. Let the believers decide. In some temples, you can come inside by wearing a shirt also. So what is the problem? I don't know. This was unwarranted. So actually, it has very little sense as far as this controversy has been concerned. So after some time, it will simply die out of it.
Mr. Anand, I would like to, ask you this particular question: that what will be the political fallout of this statement? How do you look at it in terms of the politics?
Well, Neelam, the Kerala chief minister doesn't make statements without thinking through it. He's known to be very politically astute. Although some of his gambits have, not succeeded as with the Shabrimala, in the run up to the Shabrimala agitation, some of his calculations did not go as per plan. But this time, I guess he's probably trying to to court the Irava community, which voted for the BJP in sizable numbers. I mean, the left in Kerala, the CPIM in Kerala, has counted on the Iravas to support it. Without the Iravas, there wouldn't be the Communist Party of India Marxist anymore in Kerala, because practically 80% of the Iravas used to vote for the CPIM, but that's changing now. Ever since the BJP started, promoting OBC leaders like V. Muralidharan, like K. Surendran, Shobha Surendran, M.T. Ramesh, they've all, and also ever since Narendra Modi came to power in 2014, I remember that certain, powerful historians like M.G.S. Narayanan had, spoken about the fact that Narendra Modi is also from the OBC community. So the Irava community has had some change of mind regarding their, complete backing of the or the total, the kind of backing they provided the CPIM, and the Shabrimala agitation, the verdict, the court verdict, and the haste with which the Kerala chief minister tried to, to enforce the law there, that actually caused a rethink within the Irava community about their backing of the CPIM. Now, what happened after that? The previous, the Lok Sabha election in 2024, the CPIM went for a different strategy. They tried to bring in Hamas. They tried to use the Citizenship Amendment Act, and not just use those issues as a one or two, pointers, but they made it central to their campaign in 2024, which was strange because the CAA had already lost its, the traction. So and the CPM was clearly trying to do what you call appeasement, which I wouldn't use that word, but it seemed to, even the people, the cadres in the conferences, the state, area, local branch conferences are going on of the CPM, which will lead up to the party congress next year. So the cadres are saying that, okay, we had to, just backtrack a bit from that, and the CPIM has now gone for a different kind of strategy. So every election, they just sense what is the prevailing mood, and they, double down on that strategy. So if in 2024 they tried to go for a bit of appeasement towards the minority communities, especially, sorry, just the minority community as in the Muslim community, this time I think the CPIM, Pinarayi Vijayan, wants to get that vote bank back, but I don't know whether this strategy will work, because the Irava community, they have almost, a sizable number of them, they have begun to identify with the BJP, and that's more in tune with the majoritarian sentiment. So I don't know whether, invoking Srinarayana Guru as a social reformer will make them change their mind. But Pinarayi Vijayan, I guess, is trying to, use that strategy.
Right. Dr. Gopa Kumar, you must have seen how the BJP has reacted sharply. So, first of all, what do you think the BJP, stands to gain out of this controversy? And at the same time, Vijayan has defended his statement despite the BJP backlash.
Well, uh, as rightly mentioned by Anand, the CPM is trying desperately to get the support of the Muslim minority community, but they fail to understand that it has boomeranged in a big way. The attitude towards Israel and the Hamas issue had totally alienated the Christian community against the CPIM. They must have understood this point, but now they, after losing the support of the Christian community and making the Muslim support a very controversial factor, now they are trying to placate their traditional vote bank, the Yidava community. Of course, historically, the Yidava community voted in large numbers to the communist forces, earlier under the Communist Party and now with the CPIM. But over a period of time, things have changed. And these changes has helped the BJP primarily and the Congress secondarily. The new generation from the Idva community, they are very well educated, highly mobile, and they also understand the utility of a strong central government and also how the developments following neoliberalism has helped them to get jobs, if not in Kerala but in other places. So they all have high appreciation for the Modi government. But the traditional Edawa community votes continue to move with the left, but they are surprised and shocked when the CSDS survey data showed 34% of the Edawa community had voted for the BJP. This was a shocking development, and they are now trying to see whether the Edawa community votes goes back to the CPIM. And the BJP on its part has to change and follow these developments very effectively. Because in Kerala, historically we have a very powerful minority communities, like Muslims constituting 27% of the population and Christians constituting 18% of the population. So together they are 45% of the population plus a small section of the Dalit Christians. So together it's a very sizable community. And on the other side, unlike in North India, Hindu majoritarianism will not work in Kerala. That is why BJP was not able to grow as expected. So the demography as such is not very convenient for the BJP to come forward. At the same time, BJP has earned considerable support among the Nair community, but they are only 13% of the total population. And there is 1% Brahmin community. So BJP understood the challenges and they tried to work with the OBC communities, mostly with the Idavas, and then with the other OBC communities, and certainly with the communities as such. So this strategy worked very well, and over a period of time, the stigma that BJP is an upper caste party has been completely removed. But what I would feel is in this context is that BJP leadership has to do a lot of work because they have to understand the basic issues in Kerala politics and also how some of the dimensions of coalition politics affect their fortunes. Kerala has been famous for bipolar coalition politics with Congress led United Democratic Front and the left Democratic Front led by the CPIM. So these two forces are very mighty, and in between this bipolar politics to emerge as a powerful third player is very difficult. So I was following BJP and its electoral performance from 1980 onwards. So from 2% they came to 7%, and then they came to 10 and 11, and then they reached up to 16%. And the elections held to the Lok Sabha last time, they came close to 20%. This 20% is remarkable, but considering that it's a parliament election and it is mostly Modi supporters that went in favor of them. So the challenge before the BJP is that their leadership should be very clear in taking positions. And of course, they have the support of a constituent ally, BDJS, and Bharatiya Deshiya Janata Sena. And this BDJS is the social political arm and political weapon of the Idava community. So many of them wanted to see that BJP and the and its coalition BDJS in the National Democratic Alliance become stronger. So they had to work on that side and develop the base among all the Hindu communities. Even then, considering the fact that the constituencies are not wholly homogeneously constructed except in Malappuram district, where there's a very sizable Muslim population, above 50%. But in all other places, it is uniformly spread. So, in a triangular fight to get elected is very difficult. Of course, in bipolar politics, it is much more difficult. But if the BJP earns credibility, they can win elections. That is what they have to work, and the leadership has to be very alert, focused. Unfortunately, I have noticed groupism in the BJP leadership in state. Factionalism and groupism are there in the BJP leadership in Kerala, and that is another problem because already they are weak, and further they are faction ridden. So they have to be very clear in their positions. They cannot take a very strong anti-minority position. At the same time, they have to be sensitive to the progression of the state, and they have to come forward with alternative economic policies and political policies of how they will lead the state in case they get an opportunity to share in power. So they have to be very clear in their vision and their mission. And that itself calls for when this kind of controversies come, probably they should have come forward with the positive idea of how important and significant is the idea, definitely Sanatan Dharma, and to consider Sanatan Dharma as a historic social value and explain it properly before the society. I think Kerala will have a lot of appreciation if it properly is told. Unfortunately, most of the things the opposite side is speaking is about untouchability and other kind of caste orthodoxy. Kerala has already shed all these things thanks to the social reform.
Right, right. Mr. Anand, you must have seen earlier Udayanidhi Stalin's comments calling for, the eradication of Sanatan Dharma had also triggered a political row. Is, in a way, Vijayan borrowing his ideas from him, from Tamil Nadu to Kerala?
No, I don't think so because in the case of the DMK,
Hmm.
they started out as the Justice Party, then it became the Dravida Kazhagam, then it became the DMK as it is today. So
Hmm.
they have always taken a position against Brahminism, and what Udayanidhi Stalin meant by Sanatan Dharma is Brahminism. But I
Hmm.
guess there is a divergence in the understanding of the concept of Sanatan Dharma in Tamil Nadu, in Kerala, and the rest of India, the erstwhile Punjab province, where the Sanatan Dharma was seen as a counter against Arya Samaj. So there are different viewpoints about the terminology itself. What is Sanatan Dharma? I guess nobody is defining it perfectly. I don't know how people in the Hindi speaking states refer to it. What I understand after living and working in the Hindi speaking states is that Sanatan Dharma is some kind of a more benign or a more broader sense of the Hindu identity rather than the orthodox understanding, like the Brahminism, which Udayanidhi Stalin or Pinarayi Vijayan associates with the term. That is what my understanding it is, but it could be different. It's just my understanding. So I guess there's a different understanding of the term itself, Sanatan Dharma. So what
Hmm.
Udayanidhi Stalin meant is Brahminism, but it was interpreted differently in the North Indian or the Delhi press, which is understandable. What Pinarayi Vijayan is stating is, I think he just did not want to. Why he used the word Sanatan Dharma, in my understanding, is because he did not want to directly use the word Hinduism or Hindu. So he just conveniently used a different term, which is Sanatan Dharma, and he what he meant by that is Orthodox Hinduism, and not what the what the popular understanding these days in Delhi or the rest of India is. So, but what Pinarayi Vijayan is trying to do is to try and place Sri Narayana Guru in a more secular context, so that the BJP doesn't appropriate Sri
Hmm.
Narayana Guru, because Sri Narayana Guru was always considered a reformer. Of course, he burnished his Hindu credentials, unlike his disciple Sahodaran Ayyappan, for instance. Srinarayana Guru used to preach one caste, one religion, one God for humankind, while his disciple Sahodaran Ayyappan said, no caste, no religion, no God for humankind. So there was a divergence. While Srinarayana Guru always upheld his Hindu identity. That thing is there, that he cannot be placed outside the Hindu pantheon. But what Pinarayi Vijayan is probably trying to do is to place Sri Narayana Guru in a more secular context.
Dr. Gopa Kumar, I'm just referring to a statement by a Congress leader, V.D. Satishan. Congress has also criticized, Vijayan's statement, but at the same time, he said, and I'm quoting him, that, by referring to all this, we are handing over Sanatan Dharma and its legacy to the Sangh Parivar, which is not correct.
Uh, Sadisan must be focusing on a position where he need the support of all the communities, particularly the Christian community, the Hindu community, and the other Muslim community as such. So this is a challenge before him because he wanted to ensure a majority for the UDF in the coming election, because the 10-year rule of the LDF government has brought in so much of anti-incumbency. So in order to attract from all the section, he wanted to see that he is not against Hindus. At the same time, he is against the BJP. So that approach is clear when he said that do not leave, because he must have read about Sanatan Dharma and he must have understood the positive aspects of Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan Dharma is a great ideal to that extent because it definitely appeals to a common reality and definitely believe that there is so much of unity, there need to be so much of unity among all the people, and this has been so important for the growth of India. So at the same time, Sanatan Dharma has a philosophy which is inclusive in character, but unfortunately, the communists plus Udayanidhi Stalin are trying to create a different kind of picture, and that is why they wanted to attach Sanatan Dharma with Brahminism. In Kerala, there is no Brahminism. Believe me, 1% Brahmins are nowhere in the power centers. They lost their hegemony 100 years ago. So attracting to a shadow enemy, I don't know what kind of benefit they are going to get. But Satish Sen has a clear focus. He do not want to identify himself as a Hindu person. At the same time, Hindu votes are important to him. But 45%, minimum 45% minority votes are also strong. So he need to get the support of the anti-BJP actors as well. So when he attacked BJP, he get the support of the anti-BJP element. At the same time, he is not against Sanatan Dharma, which means that he wanted to get the support of the Hindu community. And definitely, considering the social reform in Kerala, and the Hindu community also respect what has happened at the national level and also happening because of the progression in the society. Kerala has moved a lot, and this movement and the changes that brought brings a different picture from the kind of Uttar Pradesh politics or the kind of North Indian politics that we have. It's totally a different scenario. So we have a balanced population. We have also very powerful forces and actors. So Suggestion was very clear. He wanted to get votes from all the sections. That is why he is attacking BJP, but not Sanatan Dharma. I think it's a very practical position he had taken up, and he is now attending many meetings organized by the Christian community where he speaks in a very philosophical tone and not in the manner in which appeasement policies has been done by others. Pinarayi Vijayan was trying to appease the Muslim community. So that Sadisan has not taken any position, and he don't want to be affiliated either to X or Y, meaning Christians or Hindus. So that is why he had made such a position. He wanted to distance from the BJP, so the minorities are not against him.
Right. Mr. Anand, there's a question from our viewer Aditya who wants to know, do you think after winning a Lok Sabha seat and doing well on Lok Sabha seats like Trivandrum, is BJP going to do well in the upcoming Vidhan Sabha election, which will happen next year? Or do you think in Vidhan Sabha, BJP is still not a significant player?
Neelam, I'll just answer that in a couple of sentences and I'll pass it to Dr. Gopakumar because I know that
I
he
will be asking him that too. Yes.
yeah, I'll just say, I'll just preface Dr. Gopakumar's comments by saying that in the current form and the current leadership, the BJP is very unlikely to do as well as it did in the Lok Sabha, and it's more likely to fall a couple of percentage points or somewhere end up somewhere between 15 and 16%, like in 2021, unless there is a total change of the whole. They have to go for a total overhaul. And what I mean by that, I think Dr. Gopa Kumar will be better suited to answer that.
Yeah, Dr. Gopa Kumar, if you could
Yeah,
share
yeah,
your, if you could reflect on this. Yeah.
yeah. See, the last Lok Sabha election, if you convert into assembly segments, BJP led in 11 assembly segments and led as second in 9 segments. So out of 140, they are a very sizable force in 20 assembly constituencies. In addition, in another 30 constituency, they can highly influence election. So everywhere the BJP can force a triangular contest, but at least in 20-25 seats, they are extremely crucial. And the big question, how is the BJP going to open up? Earlier in 2016, the BJP opened a single seat in Neelam assembly seat. In the 2021, 5 years later, they lost it. BJP is very strong in Trivandrum district. They are strong in Pathanamthitta. They are strong in Palakkad. They are strong in Kasaragod. So in some of the region they are strong, but to win the election they need much more strategies also. As rightly said by Mr. Anand, I must say that the problem is that the BJP is not giving a positive image of a united leadership. If they do not stand united, they will not win any seat. The bipolar politics can bounce back, and even this 20% can go down to 10% unless they work unitedly. And they are not understanding the dilemma that they need to work very focused and at the same time make it very clear on position rather than giving factional signals across the leadership. That's a problem. So the problem is with the leadership, and if they work very hard and if they try to continue with the BDJs, where they say Janata San, so the BDJs together they can definitely win if they work very hard, not easy work, but very hardly. They can get up to 10 seats if they work very hard. But if they are not united and they quarrel among themselves, definitely they will reach cipher. They will go with a 0 seat. So I don't know how they are going to overcome this dilemma. And the national leadership, I don't know whether they have understood. There is political relevance for BJP in Kerala. Political space is very much there, and people understand that politics. That is why they have even elected one MP to Lok Sabha from Thrissur, although he is a popular cine star. You must imagine that there's a constituency where BJP doesn't have strong organizational roots. Even then, out of 7 assembly segments, in 6 assembly segments, the BJP got a sizable lead and won the Thrissur seat with 75,000 votes. So the people understand the politics. So if since BJP has a political relevance and they can work very effectively and bring out a picture that we are a sound leadership, we do have a sound leadership, we have a sound alternative policies, and if they work unitedly, easily they can win 10 to 12 seats. But that depends upon the leadership in nomination, in selection of candidates, in preparing the manifesto, and also making use of the opportunities because they have to defeat both the coalitions. Usually, what happens in elections in Kerala, if they feel that BJP is going to win, the LDF will support the UDF and vice versa. The UDF will support the LDF and win. But this time for the UDF, they have to capture the power. They are now out of power for 10 years in Kerala, 10 years at the national level already. So they are desperately after capturing power. So they will not transfer votes to left. And the left will not transfer vote to the BJP, to the UDF either. So BJP has reasonable chances to win a couple of seats, but it all depends upon the leadership. If leadership
Right.
takes a united position and work very hard, and definitely they can win a dozen seats in Kerala. Thank you.
Well, this brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you so much, Dr. Gopa Kumar and Mr. Anand, for your valuable insight. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Very interesting.